There's a really good restaurant in Hackney called Little Georgia. And also when I went to Moscow, I think about 8 years ago, they've got quite a few Georgian restaurants there.
And hang on a minute. Georgian, as in the country?
Yes. What
do you mean? Period of time?
No.
I thought you'd be like some like Victorian spit pudding,
I mean,
and then some like Georgian.
Bridgerton.
Hello and welcome to the Sherlock's Team podcast with me, Heather Steele. Today I'm joined by Sherri Andrew, Vanessa Menrad and Georgina Blaskey. Hello everyone.
Hi.
It's Blue Monday today, but I actually feel quite energised today. I feel like it's not the bluest Monday there could be, personally.
Me too.
Yeah.
But
When it's announced as well, you were like, okay, no, I'm going to be in a good mood today.
Yeah, I think so. But it is blooming cold outside, so
It's Baltic.
we've got hot cups of tea, coffee, a rug, just in case.
This is my new best friend now.
I've got one of those.
I
as
don't
well.
need, it does not leave my side. Yeah, I just tuck it in there, and then it's like scarf, and then as soon as I walk outside, I'm like,
Yeah,
Cozy.
yeah.
I got one of those
cozy.
for Christmas from Monkeys. It's really useful.
It's so handy, isn't it?
Yeah. It was cold at the weekend as well, but what did everyone get up to? Sherri?
Oh gosh, it was very cold. So I had a very chill weekend. I'm really trying not to make any January plans because I don't want to. Honestly, it's too cold.
Yeah.
And I was hearing someone the other day talk about winter being a really slow time and it's a time to like be with the seasons and just hunker down and have lots of nice food. So I'm trying not to be too busy. But I did go out for dinner last night with Lamb. We went to Bebe Bob.
Yeah, I saw
that.
Oh, I saw that as
I was
well,
like,
yeah.
tell me, Sherri.
Guys, it was-
I keep meaning to go.
It was delicious. So the vibe was so nice. We got there, I think, at about 2 on Sunday afternoon.
Where is
And so it's just behind Carnaby Street.
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of opposite Bob Ricard, which is just a restaurant. So this is like a more affordable chain because Bob Ricard is very nice, but it is expensive.
Yeah, it's got a press for champagne button, so that
yeah.
goes to show you.
That's what's
Exactly.
called Baby Bob.
Exactly, that little one.
That's so cute.
It's so cute. And yeah, the staff there are so lovely. And they kind of just do one thing at the moment. So you get like a chicken. They have 2 types. And then you just order all your sides, like roast potatoes, cauliflower cheese. We had some kale.
What a nice Sunday thing.
So nice. And we had a tart tatin to share. Just a little sweet treat. Bit of balance. I was like, let's not get 2 puddings, just share one. Yeah, it was really lovely. So yeah, that was like my highlight of the weekend.
We were talking about the interiors earlier. It's just beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cool. It's lots of like dark blues and pops of red, quite like modernist, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
And it wasn't too busy as well. So if you want like a quick lunch in town or a longer lunch on the weekend, I really recommend it. So yeah, that was really nice.
Lovely. Vanessa?
I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty much the same. January for me is like the only month of the year where I can be like, I have no plans, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I had yesterday my favorite Sunday, and I woke up and we prepped pancakes and then kind of had a brunch and like, you know, had some music on, had some Prosecco.
Oh, that's
and
so
then,
nice.
yeah, and then afterwards we'd like, you know, all get dressed and go out to the park and like have a little walk. And then afterwards we went to the pub for a little
that's
drink.
fun.
And honestly, it's like so simple and it's not a lot of money spent because obviously January I feel like is quite like you don't want to spend any money.
Yeah,
but
but
it was
everyone's trying to make up for
exactly.
December.
But it was just so perfect. And then I got home in the evening and I cuddled up in bed and I was like, oh my god, it feels so wholesome. Like, actually, I did go for drinks on Saturday night just to catch up with a friend, but nothing crazy.
Quite chill.
Yeah, everything
When-
just so chill.
Did you go where did you go pub wise and bar wise? Any good recommendations?
So on Saturday we went to the Grand in Notting Hill. I wanted to go to Kaya, which is a bar on Goulburn
yeah.
Road, which I really love.
Yeah, I love Kaya.
Yeah, it's like
Food's really good as well.
and the vibe is so like nice and cute, especially downstairs where they have the
Downstairs.
records and things. Yeah, but sadly they were completely booked out. They've become very popular now.
I know the last time I went, it was like you could only get a table at 6.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
really busy, which is
exactly.
nice to see.
Yeah.
Of course.
So yeah, we went to the Grand on Portobello Road in Notting Hill. A lot of places are restaurants mainly and bars like on the side, so it's hard to get a table just for drinks. But we got one in the end. And then on Sunday we went to the Ladbroke Arms.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is. we kept walking past it on our hot girl walks, and that's what we call them. And we were like, oh my God, this looks really cute. We should go there. So we went there just for a pint. But I kid you not, I walked in there and the smell of their roast, and I saw it on all the tables. We were that close. But, you know, we're not spending much money this month. But it's on the list because, the cauliflower cheese looked so, I could smell it. I was like, this is so insane. So from the looks, I recommend it for food.
Oh, that's very
It's important to have a good pub up your sleeve for roast,
exactly.
I think. Georgina?
Oh, I mean, same theme of gender, really.
I know everyone's saying that, and then they've still got like something fun to mention.
I did not go out at all. I was very firmly in. And it was really nice, actually. I have to say, I'm kind of leaning into it. I'm definitely hibernating. But lots of cooking.
Oh, nice.
Lots of cooking.
Ooh.
So I've had on my cookbook shelf for quite a while, Speedy Bosch.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the vegan, is it Two Guys?
Yeah,
I think?
yeah.
I'm sure they've been on SL.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had a
Yeah, it was good.
The Speedy Bosch.
Is it good?
So I tell you what.
Do I need it?
Well, I baked a kind of banana cake.
Yeah.
You bake it in the microwave for 8 minutes.
Oh,
In the microwave?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. And then the icing was this like peanut butter, plant-based butter, and icing sugar that you blitz, and then you spread it over and it sort of starts melting because it's sort of still warm and steamy. And then you put on like dry banana chips because the actual sponge has banana in it. Oh my God, it was delicious. And the whole thing took like 15 minutes. And it is like show-stopping. It's really cool. And you could really decorate it and go to town on it.
Yeah.
And then I did another one from their book, which was, again, no baking cake. It was like a Rocky Road fridge cake.
Oh, nice.
Where I spent a good 15 minutes just smashing up Oreos, ginger nuts, pretzels, and you kind of mix it all in and then put it in the freezer. Oh, it's just great. It's like bars of crunchy yumminess. A lot of sugar.
That sounds so good. That would last about one day in my house.
Yeah, well, I'm Tupperwaring it to try it. And I think by Sunday afternoon, most of it had gone, and I made it on Saturday.
I'm not surprised. That
Yeah.
sounds extremely Moorish.
It's quite addictive.
Yeah.
So
you need a few. I know we've spoken about it so many times, but I have been cooking from Jamie's 15-minute meals. Again, loads this
love
last
his
week
books.
or two, because, sometimes you do just want something nice after work, but you just can't be bothered to spend long.
And also, you don't need to.
No.
Actually, if you've got the right ingredients, there's no reason why you can't rustle up something super tasty and healthy, satisfying, but in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So true.
Yeah.
Nothing like a good cookbook to give you some more inspo, especially at this time of the year.
I've been cooking a few things from Molly Baz's book that came out at the end of last year called More is More is More, and it's, amazing. You look at it at first and it looks like it's super indulgent, like everything seems very cheesy or very buttery or, very meaty, but actually there are some amazing salad recipes in there and other sort of interesting sort of things that you can do quite quickly. But I think I've made about 6 things from there and everything's been insanely good. So
I love writing that
so
down.
nice.
It's definitely the month for cooking, I think. And also,
yeah.
like, sometimes I do just want a salad and like raw, crunchy, fresh things. I don't always want like the pie or the soup,
True.
It's nice to have a bit of a mixture. I feel I need to do more batch cooking though.
Yeah. So I also, to continue thing, didn't do very much at the weekend, but I did have a really fun Friday night. So I went to Ronnie Scott's, which was really fun. Hadn't been there for quite a long time. So I went to one of the earlier shows to see this composer and musician called Greg Fote, which was amazing. And then after that, I went to a new Georgian restaurant that's opened in Soho called King Carly, which is...
Sorry, a Georgian restaurant, as in the
yeah.
building
That's so
or the
cool.
food?
The food.
What does that mean? Like obscure ingredients then?
Not really, no. I really like Georgian food. There's a really good restaurant in Hackney called Little Georgia. And also when I went to Moscow, I think about 8 years ago, they've got quite a few Georgian restaurants there.
And hang on a minute. Georgian as in the country?
Yeah, that's what
you meant in a period of time. I thought you'd be like some like Victorian spit pudding,
I
and
mean-
then some like Georgian. This is what Jane
Bridgerton
Austen enjoyed.
Yeah, to be fair, I mean, there are so many themed places out there. I mean, it could be a Bridgerton-esque.
True.
Georgian
I think there's a gap in the
country.
market.
Well,
Georgian era restaurant.
well, I don't know, suet pudding.
I know you had it here first. Just to make...
No, so the country of Georgia.
Okay. So what is that kind of?
So lots of traditionally, like quite a lot of like meat stews, ricotta. They like they have their own type of sort of ricotta-y yogurt, like a sour yogurt that goes with everything, which is amazing. Amazing flatbreads, and lots of amazing sort of slow cooked vegetables. So when we went, we had like this amazing slow cooked aubergine, which they'd cooked for 24 hours, but I promise you, it was just the most amazing flavorful thing. It was like really spicy, but with this amazing yogurt on the side to sort of neutralize it all. But it's mainly centered around these dumplings called King Kali, and they're amazing. They're just so good. One's filled with wagyu, one was filled with langoustines, one was filled with mussels. Just super, super tasty.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah.
Really like different.
Yeah, it was really different, but the chef is Georgian, but he's kind of done a modern interpretation of what the traditional food is back in Georgia. But the restaurant itself is super modern looking. It's on Charlotte Street, or just off Charlotte Street, but it's got, you know, this sort of almost concrete walls and low lighting, and then some branches everywhere. So it kind of looks very natural, but very modern at the same time. And then there's a bar downstairs called Bar Kinky, which, strange name, but another sort of riff on the King Kali dumplings. But the cocktails were amazing, like really innovative, like twists on what you would usually have. So I had an amazing... It was like their take on a Negroni, but it had loads of coriander in and strawberry, but it didn't taste really sweet. It was really nice. So, yeah.
That sounds nice.
If you want a slightly different experience, I'd definitely recommend it. They had a really good tasting menu.
That sounds so nice.
Yeah, so that was my Friday. Got home really late, watched Traitors until 1 a.m, then went to sleep, and then had a very boring weekend. But the Friday made up.
Yeah. But when you go on the Friday night, the weekend just seems so much longer.
Yeah.
I hate going out on a Saturday. Friday, I'm there. Saturday,
Yeah.
probably not.
100% with you. Yeah.
We'll talk TV. We won't talk Traitors, even though I want to. I'd happily just sit here for the next hour. And
I haven't
talk all
started season
about
2
it.
yet, so I thought
so
there'd be
good.
spoilers.
I'm with you, but
So
I think
good.
it was covered.
It was covered. The only thing I will say, I will recommend The Traitors Uncloaked.
Oh, I watched one of them.
Yeah,
What's
so
that?
if anyone doesn't know, it's basically a sort of podcast format show that's
It's
on
like-
after The Traitors.
It's like when they have Bake Off and then they have
an extra slice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
It Takes Two.
It Takes Two.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
it's like the behind the scenes breaking it down.
exactly. Ed Gamble presents it,
Yeah.
which is really funny, and they have like various different guests. But the bit I really like about it is that the person who got murdered in the last episode and the person who got banished in the previous episode sit down together and they find out who the traitors are, and
Yeah.
it's so good, like the reveal when they're like saying who
Because
the people
also,
are. So
spoiler
good.
alert, but because they're not guessing the right people
No.
at the moment.
No,
It is a real shock
Yeah.
when they open that piece
Yeah,
of paper.
their
and they're like,
reactions
oh,
are
wow.
priceless. So yeah,
So good.
It's worth watching it just for that.
Just
to
for
be
that
honest.
bit, yeah.
I also watched a fun reboot this weekend. I watched Gladiators.
Oh, I've heard so much
I've
about
heard
this,
about
but
this.
I missed it.
Was it any good though?
It was amazing.
Really?
So I loved Gladiators back in the day in the 90s. Absolutely obsessed with it.
That surprises me. I don't know
I was like 7.
Okay, fine.
I had the annuals. I absolutely loved it.
Who was your favourite gladiator back in
I
the
actually
day?
really liked Wolf, like the bad guy, like not in a fancying way. I think even as a kid.
Well, you were 7.
Yeah,
so
no,
let's
but
go.
like I always found the men just perturbingly muscly, I think. But I thought all the women were really cool, like Jet and Lightning, and everyone were like,
Wait,
you know-
I'm sorry. What is this?
Sorry.
What is it? I was like, at first I thought like it was like a movie.
Apologies.
Like,
Russell
what-
Crowe.
Do they-
No.
I thought they might
Gladiator.
have had a version in Germany, but maybe not. No, it's essentially in the 90s. It was this big TV show, and they're basically a group of elite sort of bodybuilders called the Gladiators.
Oh, okay,
and then
okay.
every week, 4 sort of normals who are into fitness and stuff basically have to go up against the Gladiators and do all these various challenges. And at the end, there's this eliminator challenge where they have to do various things and then run up this horrible thing, and then whoever wins
Is it like Run the
gets through.
Gauntlet or something?
Yeah, that's what the Gauntlet's back, this series.
So they had one thing, like, you know, a Q-tip.
Yeah.
They would have like a giant bar.
Oh,
with
yes.
it's like a giant, and they would be like this, trying to kind of knock each other
Yeah,
off.
That's what
that's
it makes me
back.
think
Sort of
of.
like padded
Yeah.
around them. They were
very
really-
lycra-y.
yeah.
Why did they bring that back?
Honestly, watch
Well,
it. It's
'cause
so
Ninja
good.
UK does quite well.
It does.
Oh, yeah,
So
the
this
Ninja's
is
like-
now
yeah,
the BBC.
yeah.
It's BBC,
It
isn't
is,
it?
yeah.
So I guess
Yeah.
they needed something
It's like family entertainment.
Yeah,
to fill
it's-
that 5:30 Saturday
Exactly.
night
It's on at
slot.
10 to 6. It's
perfect.
really friendly.
Tea
but
time.
It's all in front of a live audience as well. But they basically, I think the reason I really enjoyed it is because they haven't tinkered with the format at all. They just, like, the music's exactly the same. Like, it's very clever. They've just
Proper
kind of
nostalgic.
not mucked around with it too much.
Who's the referee?
It's not John Anderson, but
That was like the iconic
yeah, it's
catchphrase.
Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, so it's different refs, but essentially it's the same. And I like the new Gladiators as well. They all look a lot of fun. Very
I'm gonna
camp.
look that one up. Can't wait.
Well,
pleasure.
again, that's what you need in January, just something a bit fun.
Some light relief, exactly.
I think so. Has anyone else been watching anything good?
This is the opposite of light relief.
Yeah.
Traumatic, I would say. Society of the Snow, and is about a group of, I think they're from Uruguay.
Yeah.
In the 70s. It's a true story. So it was a rugby team. They went over to, was it Chile? Somewhere in
Yeah, Chile.
South America for this tournament match. And their plane actually crashed in the Andes. And it is a story of them having to survive in the wilderness. Like about half of the people die, the other half survived. And then you see them over the course of, it's literally like 3 months.
Really? It's
They
almost
have to
I think
survive
it's
in-
70 something days, isn't
Yeah.
it? And they're, half the planes, like it crashes in the snow, the tail end goes, the pilot's like dead on impact pretty much. So they're just stranded.
Yeah.
But they also kind of land in this sort of dip. So it's about 10 or 15 minutes into the film. They can hear planes looking for them, but they can't be seen somehow. And one of them goes off to see what's over the hill after a few days that they've been there. And then when he's there, he turns around and he realizes from that view, you actually can't see the
Yeah.
Oh.
The plane. I mean, the plane is
Fuselage?
white and
Not
there
sure what
is
it's
the
called.
Wreckage.
snow.
the wreckage. Yeah.
And it's, their story of how they survived. So in the end, I think it was 14 that actually survived.
Oh, wow.
To the
That's
very
quite
end.
impressive.
Yeah,
But,
amazing.
Yeah, you get really emotionally invested. I think it feels really traumatic, and I felt like it really stayed with me.
I'm getting stressed out just
Honestly,
listening to this
oh.
bit.
It's
Yeah, stomach ache.
It's because it's a true story.
Yeah, it's
and
like-
they're really young, like average age, like 25.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're all with
Wow.
other civilians. Like there's a couple, like a husband and wife. You see how they kind of like band together and really try and make it through, but in like the worst conditions imaginable, and everything that goes wrong. Boy, it's like there's an avalanche. There's like extreme weather conditions as you'd expect. They're literally out top of a mountain.
How did they do it?
It just blows my
Wow.
mind how any of them survive that. It's just, unimaginable.
You get a real insight into a lot of characters. There are a lot of people who have survived at the beginning. And I think you really feel quite invested for all of them. And it's very clever in the way that when characters die, you feel a real sadness because they have actually spent time on those characters
Yeah.
rather than just focusing on the ones who are going to survive.
I don't think it's-
there are some really, really tender, beautiful moments that
Yeah.
are very upsetting.
Yeah.
And then there are other bits where you watch it and you just think there's like, what would I do in that situation?
That's the impression I got when I was reading about it before. It's a real makes you think, like, can you imagine yourself? And
and the
would have
length
to
you
do.
go
Yeah.
to. I mean, I think it's pretty well known that there's a kind of element of cannibalism in the film.
yes,
Not they don't kill each other, but
No,
that's
yeah, no
the
one's
only way
murdered,
to
but-
survive. But a really good, enjoyable watch. I think it's done really well. It was nominated for a Golden Globe. It might win an Oscar.
Yeah.
So
I
yeah,
hope
it's
so.
a really good film. It's just it's
prepare
basically-
yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just done with a lot of tenderness and kind of.
It sounds like it's been
sensitivity.
respectfully done because
Yeah, I mean, there's
in the
nothing
wrong
gratuitous
in the wrong
about-
hands. It could probably
Yeah.
be very like a gore fest. Or,
Yeah, and
yeah.
it definitely isn't that at all. It's like I said, really sensitive. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds really. Oh yeah, I'll give that
Pretty
a
good.
Really, yeah, I've been meaning to watch that, so thank you. Vanessa, have you seen anything good recently?
Well, TV show wise, we literally over this weekend watched. I think this came out in 2020, and we only watched it because Paul Mescal was in it. It's called The Deceived. It's basically about a teacher that he's in Cambridge, and he sleeps with his student, but he's married. And then his wife dies. The funeral is in Ireland because he and her are both Irish. And she comes to Ireland to find him because she's pregnant. It's only 4 episodes, so it's not too long. Each episode is like an hour, I think. And it was really fun to watch. I actually had a bit of a jump at some point because like it's just a bit creepy. And also Paul Mescal wasn't in it as much as I hoped he would. He was a side character. No, he was just a guy in the village, in that Irish village that they then stayed at.
Did that come out just before Normal People, do you reckon? If it was 20, or
He
filmed it before he was big news?
I'm not gonna lie, we didn't think it was gonna be this like intense of a show. We just thought it was like a murder mystery sort of vibe. But I did really enjoy it in the end.
Just very quickly, I know we've done loads of TV chat, but did anyone else watch Mr. Bates versus the Post Office?
I've been dipping in and out, but yes, I'm basically watching it.
So good. So yeah, it was a thing that came out right at the beginning of the new year. The ITV drama about the post office scandal and all the sub-postmasters who were wrongly accused of theft and other things, and lots of people ended up going to prison. Some people died before they got exonerated. And yeah, obviously it's been in the news a lot because since the drama came out, there's been movements to actually sort of do something about it after all these years. And I mean, you'll have read loads of things in the news about it already, so you don't need me to bang on about that, but I do urge everyone, if you haven't seen the drama, to watch it because it is truly amazing. We watched all 4 episodes in one night.
Was it only 4?
Yeah,
Okay.
4 1-hour episodes. We weren't intending to. We were just like, oh, should we just watch this? This was with my boyfriend's mum at the beginning of the year. Like, oh, something that, you know, you'll watch with your parents sort of thing. And yeah, we stayed up till 11:30 watching every single episode, which his mum definitely never usually does, but it's so absorbing and you just...
Yeah, it's gripping.
I think lots of people remember when there were the initial sort of convictions were overturned a few years ago, but it really is amazing, to sort of see how it all unfolds, but also... I remember all that happening in the news, but I hadn't appreciated that they still haven't got any of the compensation.
Yeah, that's
like the story had just got buried once again, and now all of a sudden, thankfully,
it's thanks to a TV drama.
Yeah.
I mean, how ridiculous that it takes the drama on
It's so
TV
true.
to finally get justice for all these wronged people and their families. And...
It is shocking. Like when you watch it, it's genuinely you'll feel so angry.
Many. I mean.
It wasn't just that people lost jobs and lost salaries. Like they invested everything they had in these post offices. That was meant to be their retirement fund, their livelihood, the thing that got their kids through school, all of these things. And that was just instantly taken away from them. They were all sort of evicted from their post offices. Like everything was gone. So many people went to prison, had to pay back this missing money that wasn't missing. It's a very shocking watch, but it's amazingly well acted. The cast is brilliant.
Has anyone watched Fool Me Once?
No.
I want to watch it so badly. I keep wanting to start
how is it?
Well, I'm gonna say it was on whilst I was doing a lot of my cooking. Other people in the house were watching it, and I kind of would say I was like 70% concentrating. So I don't want to give like a sort of, I don't want to suggest I've watched it all meticulously. It was like watching TV in a set of Gogglebox. The amount of people on the sofa going, oh my God, but hang on, what about this? And what about that?
Nice.
So there was, if you're into kind of watching something and trying to work out the twists and turns, and it seems that is a good one. And Michelle King's really good.
I've seen a lot of TikToks of people taking the piss out of Michelle King.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm not in a bad way, but more like, I think she's quite over the top, and what she's saying, I get the impression that she's repeating herself quite a lot.
Well, yeah, and there's also definitely. I mean, I think it's something like 8 episodes. Felt like it probably could have been about 6.
That's a lot.
There's kind of a lot of shouting and a lot of like, I'm just gonna go out and find out who's done that now. And then she's like, seems to be telling Joanna Lumley, who's her mother-in-law, to fuck off quite a lot.
Wow.
And then Joanna Lumley's like, you can fuck off. And I was like, oh, hang on, what's going on? This sounds good. And it's I think it's just really entertaining.
I was going to say, it sounds like EastEnders. Like,
Yeah, but the other thing I have watched, and I'm just going to say it as a please don't waste your time watching this, was
Also
the new
useful.
Vigil.
Oh
no.
See, I sort of saw that was coming out, but it didn't really have much fanfare, did it, compared to series 1 on the
it's a
submarine?
complete kind of damp squid of a TV drama. I really wouldn't bother. Yeah, I wouldn't
Well, I
recommend
won't
it.
waste my time.
I was going to say,
But I just think it's important to know what not to watch.
I was about to say that.
Yeah.
Doing God's work, Georgina. Sherri, you had a feature for us.
Yes. So I was reading about FKA Twigs over the weekend because she has a new campaign with Calvin Klein has actually been banned in the UK.
I saw her post about this.
Even though only 2 people have gone to Ofcom and complained, which is so low. I mean, at the time of recording, this is Monday, so it might be more. But they have said that it is gratuitous and it is over-sexualizing her body. But this is the same month of Jeremy Allen White's Calvin Klein ad, where he is, you know, arguably just as naked.
More so.
That's been sexualized all over. I mean, every TikTok I see, even at workplaces, people are like, oh my God, you know, just on their phones, like, girls.
Well,
like,
even round our desk last week, there were some, you know, positive murmuring. Yeah.
Appreciation, indeed.
But like, what's the difference then? Because I saw like in her thing, I think it said like, because they said it was too much focus on her body rather than the clothes. And then I'm like, yeah, but
because she's draped in a really nice Calvin Klein denim shirt. I think
it just feels a bit unfair.
I think it's massively unfair.
It feels
double
like,
standards to new.
If this was a guy, that wouldn't have happened.
Well, it didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But even if he did the same, you know, like if he was fully naked just with a shirt on, like obviously his was a bit different in the sense, but even if it was the exact same picture, just with him instead.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't get it because she's posed for the picture. She's given her position. She loves it. She looks incredible.
She does, yeah.
Why should it matter?
I really liked her response to it though, because she posted her own sort of Instagram saying that, she's really proud of the shoot and really stands by it because she does just look like an amazing, strong woman. A la Grace Jones, and she references lots of other women that she is inspired by in that. Yeah. And you look at the photo and she does just look strong, healthy, incredible. Just there's nothing sexy about it for me, really.
No,
you can see a bit of bum, but it's like...
Agreed.
It's not a sexual pose. Like, I find it really shocking that they've banned it.
I'm amazed that 2 people is enough to bring an ad campaign to a close.
Sorry, I should say it's Watchdog, not Ofcom, which is obviously for TV. But and then they referenced that, you know, Calvin Klein have always done kind of provocative adverts with Brooke Shields back in the 90s. I mean, they've had countless people over the years. So why her specifically? Yeah. I don't know if that's me being really cynical of thinking like maybe it's a little bit of race at play.
It very well could be, unfortunately.
Not sure, but so maybe it will be overturned. Who knows? But I just think it's really sad.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's a big thing for her as well, and her, you know, at a point in her career, like to be a Calvin Klein, you know, model. That's a big deal. And
also,
it's been taken away from her.
A lot of those Calvin Klein adverts are for underwear, so we've got to kind of show some skin, right? I feel like the Kardashians do some Calvin Klein ads a couple of years ago. I feel like they weren't getting cancelled over that.
I mean, they're always naked anyway, so I don't get bad.
But I'm glad that like it's getting so much attention. People are like annoyed about it, and people share it, and people support like all her plans. Like obviously, like we're commenting. Like
that's true.
Ultimately, it's just it's a clever advert. Isn't the tagline "Nothing but Calvins"? Like it kind of works with what it's doing. Anyway, hopefully it'll get overturned, what you say. Vanessa, you had a piece for us as well.
Yes. So it's on The Guardian, and it's called Yes, It's Cold, It's Wet, and It's Dark, but here are 9 reasons to love January. And at first I was like, I don't think so. But it's actually, it was actually really funny, and I really enjoyed it. January is the perfect excuse as number 1, which, you know, we talked about earlier anyways. No one will question things in January. It's like, if you can't make it, it's like, oh, it's January.
She's gonna win a lot.
Exactly. And no one expects you to look good or be cheerful.
So true. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like you don't have to put as much effort in, because everyone's kind of like, if you come into work with like a hood on and a cap on, people will be like, yeah, January.
It's true.
She does say it is aesthetically pleasing in the sense of the sunrise and the sunset, as much as like, you know, she's like, ignore the time in between, but the sunrise and sunset when it's sunny is actually stunning at the minute.
Yeah,
because of the like orangey color, like you really feel like it's really beautiful. Other people exercise for you, where she says, I have sincerely tried several times to book Pilates classes this month, but they're all booked up. Scientifically speaking, this means I have done Pilates. That's January maths. Then you can become a Beatrix Potter creature. I actually didn't know who Beatrix Potter is, but I got the vibe from like when I was reading.
I was going to say, a very British author, so fair enough.
I feel like that was your weekend, like, you know, cook up nourishing foods, delicious, like creative uses, blah, 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 this sort of thing. I can
Hibernating,
imagine,
yeah, whatever the hedgehog's called.
Mrs. Tiggerwinkle.
And then the last one, which is also one of my top contenders, it really can't get any worse.
Yeah.
There's something optimistic about it. It's not going to get worse. It's only going to get better.
Well, actually, talking about things getting better, I was in the supermarket on Saturday and I walked out and it was something like 4:30, 5. And I was like, it's not pitch black.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's dark, but it's not
Yeah.
dark. And already
It's
just starting
A little
to get
bit.
slightly longer.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Surprise.
apart from, having a good excuse to do F all, what's everyone's favourite thing about January? Let's have some positivity. Sherri?
I love winter food, and I love winter anyway. Obviously, January isn't as exciting as other months, but yeah, all the food that comes into season, it's just a nice excuse to eat lots of potatoes.
Yeah, it's
Drop
true.
it down, lots of soups, and just being cozy. Just the act of being cozy at home, hot water bottle, blanket, and not feeling guilty for not being out.
That's a very good point. Vanessa?
Well, I'm a big planner, so my favorite part about January is planning the year. You
Yeah.
know, like I have my vision board. I make my vision board ready. I actually make my vision board in January, not in December, because I prefer
makes more
already.
sense,
Yeah.
And I start planning. This is what I want to do in the next upcoming months. This is where I want to go. And also my birthday is in February, so
There we
I'm
go.
that's probably even more exciting than the planning for the year is the planning for the birthday for me. And it occupies most of January for no reason.
Georgina, what's your favourite thing about January?
So it's like one kind of goes with the other. So in December, you see everybody and you're like, oh, we must see each other before Christmas.
Yeah.
Why we all think that, but we do. So by January, I'm like, I don't need to see anyone because I definitely saw you within the last 4 weeks.
That's
I know
true.
that's happened. So again, it's that kind of hibernating. But then on the other side of it, kind of like looking inwards a bit. So without jumping into the new year, new you thing, which I'm not a massive fan on, you do just have a bit of space, I think, in your diary, even your day, time. I guess just having some mental space to turn inwards and have some self-reflection and some self-care and all of that. But I do quite like that side of it.
Yeah.
It's quite selfish. It's kind of a selfish time of year. I
I don't think
nice
it's selfish though.
Well, no,
self-care
yeah,
is
you
not
see,
selfish.
That's true.
It's not the same thing.
No.
It's important.
Yeah. So I think that
Yeah.
is my favourite part.
What about you, Heather? What's your favourite?
I like January because I get loads of reading done. Again, it all plays into what we were already saying about having more free time. But I think, I always start off being like, I'm going to read loads of books this year. And January to March, I end up reading 12 or so. And then it just drops off for the rest of the year. And I sort of read a couple from there. So I do like that chance. But also, thinking about holidays for the year. I think it's a good time to get excited about things. But definitely plotting a few holiday ideas in my head. On the subject of sort of looking inward and goal setting for the year and all those things, on the community, somebody was asking, how do you stay motivated in the winter and set goals for the year? I was wondering if anyone had any sort of concrete tips for anybody who might be looking at how to sort of look ahead for the year.
Going on to the first bit, staying motivated. I saw a really good post from Stephen Bartlett on Instagram, and he was talking about this idea of staying motivated. And he said, actually, you can't stay motivated. No one can be 100% motivated all of the time. So actually, it's better to kind of have moments of being motivated, but don't expect yourself to be motivated for the entirety of January or, in fact, the year. And with that goal setting in mind, just, I guess it's kind of go easy on yourself on that, because you can't carry on at 100 miles an hour at 100%, giving it your all the time. It's just not possible. You burn out by February.
That's true. Yeah,
I would say.
I think that is what happens when people try and set New Year's resolutions in that kind of black and white term.
Yeah. And none of us are going to change overnight just because it's January, and that's the worst time of year to try and radically change things, I would say. So I just thought that really stayed with me. I thought it was really interesting, just take the pressure off in terms of, say, if it's fitness or something. One thing I've read is that you should just have it in your diary on the days you're going to exercise. So it's not, you don't have to make the decision. Because it's just there. And that's what you do at 6:30 a.m. on a Tuesday. You go and do your run or yoga.
I see.
So it's not even up for discussion internally. This is obviously, you just go and do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
If it's workout related, I'd also say it's nice to have a partner to do it with. I'm not saying a romantic partner. I
Yeah.
mean, like, for example, if I'm like, I want to start running now, if I find someone who runs with me, then if we make plans to get up at 6:30 and run, I can't back out because
Yeah.
the other
Like
person's
accountability.
So yeah, that's sort of much, because I'm someone, if I don't want to get out of bed, I will not. It can be in my calendar all you
Yeah.
want, like it just. But if it's more work related or like more generally related, I always find that it really helps. The reason we get so like discouraged is because we take all these bad things and, you know, they overtake. So remembering every little good thing, like even writing a list of like, this is a good thing that happened today, or like, this is something nice my boss said to me today, or, you know, just like focusing on these nicer things, even if they're small, will like just naturally make you feel more motivated about things, because right now it is darker, it is all a bit sad, so it helps just to have, you know, even if your friend's like, oh, I love your outfit, like if you write that down and then later on when you feel, oh, nothing looks good right now, and then you read that little comment that someone made about you remember, oh, someone did like it the other day. So it's not all.
That's true.
I think that goes both ways. If you pay someone a compliment and you see the reaction that person has, and then you're like, oh, I made someone's day today when I told them that I loved the way they did something.
Exactly. Or made something.
That also gives you you get the same warm feeling back that you've given.
Or
So-
general compliments as well, like you know, if someone suddenly tells you like, oh, you're just always so nice, it's like something that you don't really think about yourself, and it's so important to write these things down, because we immediately, if we're in a bad mood, forget all about this. Like this is just our natural response, is like to just like not, whereas if we wrote it down, it's like, no, like I'm not a horrible person, someone thought I was nice.
I've actually got my diary. It's called My Goals, which is spelled MI Goals. I've had it for the last couple of years, and it's like a daily diary where I sort of journal and write everything that's happened. But you can get different types of ones. But the one that I've got, it does have that every day. It's got like a whole, like you set all your different goals for the year, which I haven't done yet. But then you sort of, it's done by month as well. So you can sort of break things down. But on every, it's like one of those double pages. This is like every day as is. But then on the right hand side, they've got like 3 good things that happened this week, 3 things I'm happy about going into the week, positive things that happened, all those little things, and like habits to form. And again, it's like what you're saying, sort of writing everything down.
It sounds so cheesy, but it really helps.
Yeah, no, it does.
I'm usually the kind of person who's like, oh no. But like, it really helps.
Yeah.
It does.
Being forced to think about good things and write them down can then have positive outcomes. Oh, I only had one other thing which I did last year, which I found really interesting and beneficial in a goal setting way, which there's a place in Soho called the London Clinic of Hypnotherapy, and you basically can go in for any reason, but there's this hypnotherapist called Lydia, and I had a session with her, and essentially she sort of talks to you. You can do like 3-hour sessions, but I think the most popular ones, which is the one I did, is like an hour session where she just chats to you about everything that's going on in your life, or a bit of background, like, you know, a normal sort of one-on-one session. But then after that, so you sort of like drills down like what you might want to change in your life or what you want to focus on, and that can be really positive. It doesn't just have to be like, I want to stop doing this or stop doing that. It can be really positive. And then you lie down and put these headphones on, and she records a 25-minute sort of personalized sort of hypnotherapy audio, I suppose you could describe it as. And it's got like amazing music in the background, and it kind of does put you in a very relaxed state while she's talking to you about various different things and sort of reaffirming the stuff that you've been speaking about in a positive way. And then at the end of the session, you have that audio for yourself, and you have to listen to it for 21 days in a row every morning. Well, that's when I did it. And it's something really, I think you do it if you did want to stop smoking or anything negative like that. That wasn't why I did it. But I do think there was something really positive about it. Just like having this moment to yourself every day when you listen to all these sort of positive things that are sort of very personal to you. And I was doing that before sort of getting ready for work, and I felt it really did sort of go in. It was
sounds really powerful.
It was really interesting. I'd really recommend it if you
to do that.
Yeah. And then one nice fun one to finish on. Somebody is asking on the community, where's a good place to go on holiday in March? Has anyone got any ideas?
Well, depends if you want
It's
At
a
the
very
end of the
vague
ski
question.
season or
Yeah,
the
that's
beginning of the
true.
hot season,
Yeah.
I
Wow.
suppose.
You
I
could
would
do many
say
things.
You could do so much. I think Easter falls at the last week of March.
Yeah.
So avoid that if you don't want to,
Yeah.
go on any holidays where there could be kids.
Or
if you want an adult only holiday.
Yeah.
Or paying through the nose. 'cause
Exactly.
it's
Yeah,
Easter.
all really
Yeah.
expensive. Somewhere long haul like Mexico. That's where I'm going. It's very exciting.
I was going to say, I knew you'd be good to ask because of your Mexico trip,
Yeah,
which I'm so excited for you.
So like Central and South America that's a good time to visit. Also like the Caribbean is still really nice then. Closer to home, if I wasn't going there, I would go somewhere like Porto for a long weekend, somewhere European that's going to be a little bit warmer, but not too hot, and you're not going to get that in season, all the crowds.
Yeah.
But anywhere really.
Nice. You mentioned skiing, Georgina. Where would you go? Well, where would you suggest in March where there might still be some snow?
So if it's end of March?
Just March.
If it's early March, you can go anywhere. But if it's end of March, you want to look high resorts. And we just went actually before Christmas to Solden in Austria, and that has got 3 peaks that are all over 3,000 meters, which is really unusual in a ski resort. Normally you might get 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of their own little ski area, each peak, and it's brilliant. It's an hour from Innsbruck. And we stayed at a hotel called Das Central, which I can recommend. It was absolutely fantastic. So if it was March, I'd probably head high
there,
somewhere like that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great. And I just go all in on Scotland. I went last March. I think it's a good time to go because it's not bitingly cold, but it hasn't started to get really busy like it does in the summer. So Scotland all the way for me. All right, I think we'll leave that there. Thanks everyone. Thanks so much for watching and listening. If you've got any questions for us, please do email us at podcast@SheerLuxe. We love hearing from you, and don't forget to rate, review, subscribe and tell your friends, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.